Now at 9, a dozen Chiefs fans literally gave up a part of their body to watch their team beat the Dolphins in January. Plus, doctors say low vaccination rates are fueling the spread of measles across the nation. And the city of Miami, Oklahoma hosts a special meeting to discuss a lease agreement for a new Boys and Girls Club facility.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. I'm Tanya Bach. A Southeast Kansas man faces a number of charges after a standoff last Thursday in a home officials say he was trying to rob. The hour-long standoff happened in the middle of the day last Thursday when a resident northeast of Caney, Kansas called 911. The caller reported a suspected burglary after discovering his door was forcibly opened. Deputies used what they referred to as less lethal methods to remove the suspected burglar from the home. Andrew Cook from Coffeyville is now charged with aggravated burglary, criminal damage to property, interference with a law enforcement officer, and attempted theft by threat. His first court appearance is set for Thursday. Some of the people who attended the Chiefs' near-record cold playoff game against the Dolphins this year had to undergo amputations after suffering frostbite. That's according to Research Medical Center, a hospital in Kansas City, Missouri. The hospital says it treated dozens of people for frostbite, with 12 of them needing amputations involving mostly fingers and toes. The January 13th game reached as low as -4 degrees with a wind chill of -27. Well, meteorologist Lindsay Gaffney joins us with a first look at weather. Much warmer than that today.
Yes, temperatures are about 56 right now, but we saw a high of 62, and it's going to keep getting up. By tomorrow, we'll reach the 70s across the region and even higher as we move into the middle of this week. Good visibility and winds out of the south are pretty light, although we could see those start to pick up early tomorrow morning. Temperatures across the region are starting to dip down into the 50s, with our overnight low being just at 50. Now, relative humidity in the area is rather low. We will see it increase tomorrow with more moisture ahead of that system moving in. However, you still could worry with some fire weather conditions on top of having some really fast wind gusts tomorrow morning. I'll have more details after.
All right, thanks, Lindsay. The city of Carl Junction says its storm sirens have been fixed. The police department announced the sirens were down last Thursday ahead of a storm system moving in, and today they had a technician come in to fix an electrical issue in the system. They also say they placed an order for a new digital radio system to control activation. The city of Miami, Oklahoma today held a special meeting to discuss some ongoing issues, including a lease agreement for a new Boys and Girls Club facility. The plan is for the new facility to be located downtown by the Coleman Theater. Multiple residents spoke during the meeting, expressing concern the plan would take away much needed parking space at the theater. No action was taken at today's meeting. It will be readdressed at a meeting on Thursday. A Webb City, Missouri organization is helping military spouses get support. Charlie 22 Outdoors today hosted an event for the spouses to connect and talk about the struggles they face. It was called Plug into Hope. In this case, Plug stands for Prayer, Love, Unity, Grace, and Hope stands for Holding On to Promises Eternal.
Plug stands for prayer, love, unity, and grace, because we definitely believe in giving people grace. The grace of God has, been shown on us through Jesus Christ. And so we definitely believe in giving people that, and the hope, holding on to promises eternal. So through the grace of God.
Charlie 22 Outdoors plans to host these events every Monday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the group's clubhouse. As one local animal shelter deals with a parvo outbreak, another is in urgent need of foster parents for pups. However, the Joplin Humane Society is short on foster homes, which can help keep its animals safe. KOAM's Samantha Walker has more.
Puppies stay here. It's not if they're going to get sick, it's when and how sick are they going to get.
The Joplin Humane Society always has animals in need. With so many in their care, there are fears surrounding the spread of viruses, especially in young puppies.
Enough stool, just a tiny amount that'd cover your pinky, your fingernail and your pinky is enough to contaminate over 100 dogs. So a little bit goes a long ways, unfortunately, which is why in a shelter situation, it doesn't take but one dog to get hundreds of dogs sick.
Shelter workers say one of the best things you can do for these young animals is to keep them out of the shelter.
Parvo is very deadly for puppies. So getting puppies out sooner than later is great for not exposing them to viral issues like parvo, but also for their mental health as well.
The Humane Society frequently uses foster home placements for its animals, including puppies, in hopes of keeping them safer.
It keeps them happy and healthy and in a safe environment till they've had their 2 vaccines, have been spayed and neutered in a post-op time. It just keeps them healthier than sitting here in a shelter, and they're not as stressed.
The Humane Society recommends anyone interested in fostering an animal come in and fill out an application. The shelter provides everything needed for the pet, including food, dishes, and any medications.
It's just a win-win. It keeps the puppies happy and healthy. It's fun for the fosters.
In Joplin, Samantha Walker, KOAM News.
The Joplin Humane Society will be hosting its spring vaccine clinic on April 5th. No appointment is necessary. Well, the measles outbreak is spreading now in 17 states. Coming up, how you can protect yourself and your family. 3 cases of measles are now reported in Chicago, just weeks after at least 10 cases were reported hundreds of miles away in Florida, raising fears the disease could be spreading across the country. In Chicago, 2 of the 3 patients are children living inside a migrant shelter. One also attends a nearby public school. The CDC says there are now reported measles cases in at least 17 states, and most doctors agree the spread is fueled by low vaccination rates, especially among young children. Now, the CDC issued a measles warning back in January, urging healthcare providers to be on the lookout for a possible new outbreak, but officials stress the possibility of a widespread COVID-like crisis is extremely low, and protecting yourself is easy.
In a lot of the states now, we're seeing new vaccination rates in the children in the high 60s, which means that we've got an awful lot of susceptible kids that are out there.
The CDC recommends an isolation period of 3 weeks if your kids are unvaccinated and they are exposed to measles. Well, if you're sleepy today, you're not alone. Many are still adjusting to the time change. But if you plan to turn to melatonin for sleep tonight, health experts are urging you to keep the sleep aid out of the reach of little hands. Mandy Gaither has data from a new report on the dangers of young children ingesting melatonin without a parent's supervision.
It's a popular supplement that can help get those much-needed Z's, but unsupervised ingestion of melatonin is sending more children to the emergency room, according to a new report.
A lot of melatonin is, flavored. It's either a gummy or a liquid. They make it to taste nice.
In the report, the CDC and U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission estimate that between 2019 and 2022, nearly 11,000 children younger than 5 visited the ER after ingesting melatonin without supervision. More than half of accidental ingestions involved children between 3 and 5 years old, and the majority of visits did not involve additional medications. Dr. Jenna Wheeler with Orlando Health's Arnold Palmer Hospital for Children says melatonin should only be used as directed.
Even though it's sold, at your local grocery store or drugstore and it's easily accessible, there still are significant side effects, especially when used in amounts greater than recommended.
To keep kids safe, Wheeler says to educate children that sleep aids aren't candy, store melatonin out of reach of little hands, and securely fasten the top of the bottle.
Melatonin caps are not the safety caps that we think of with our prescription drugs, so it's even more important to keep those up.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Well, the vast majority of unsupervised melatonin ingestions did not result in hospitalization. Now, researchers didn't specify whether children whose data was used in the study experienced any side effects. Well, a new study finds more than a third of teenagers think they spend too much time on their phones. Around 40% of the 1,400 teens surveyed say they log too many hours on smartphones and social media. That same percentage says they need to cut back, but admitted They feel anxious when they're without their phones. Just over half of those surveyed are happy with their screen time usage and feel no need to unplug. Lindsay is next with a complete look at the forecast. And later, Pitt State's men's and women's teams are headed to the Division II National Tournament. We'll break down their first round matchups.
Well, the temperatures are warming up. However, we do have some rain chances in the forecast for the next week. Not starting tonight, though. Taking a look at our downtown Joplin Cornell Complex camera, it's a clear night. Winds are picking up, so we will see gusts upwards of 40 miles per hour in the morning, and that's just ahead of that system that we saw. Today we had a high of about 68, about average for what we're seeing around this time of year, although as we move into later this week, we'll see temperatures into the 70s, so it's going to be a little bit above average. Getting ready for that spring season, we're tracking the next system moving in on Tuesday, but not until Tuesday night. Starting tomorrow, it'll be cloudy. Clouds do roll in a little bit earlier, around 4 or 5 a.m. And the winds, like I said, are going to be picking up, gusting upwards of 40 to 45 miles per hour right after 9 a.m. The next system starts to make its way in Tuesday evening, around 8 p.m. when we could start to see showers, and after 9 is when they'll get to be a little bit heavier, possible thunderstorm chances. We'll take a closer look at that in just a second. We do have a low risk for severe storms tomorrow and on Wednesday. Now, as of right now, it's not looking like much, but there is this low risk across all of the counties. So you do want to be prepared just in case these do start to fire up. But right now, they're not developing into thunderstorms until after they leave our area. You can see in the northeast is when the rain is starting to fall. Kansas City is getting some, and they increase. But right across this front is where we could see the development for these thunderstorms. Due to the instability in the area and the moisture levels, it is a very real possibility that these will spark up tomorrow evening. However, as of right now, it's just developing after it leaves our area off to the northeast. And the same thing happens on Wednesday with these systems developing north of us in Kansas City and getting stronger as it moves further away from us. However, like I said, with the instability and moisture in the atmosphere, we could see these storms develop when they're in our viewing area. Now, as we move into Thursday, this is a likely chance that we will get rain. You can see in Bella Vista about 6 p.m. they're already getting some thunderstorms. So we're going to have some pretty high chances for thunderstorms on Thursday leading into early Friday morning. But I still have a 20% chance of rain Tuesday and Wednesday, just in case these storms do fire up in our viewing area. I want everyone to be prepared for that. Temperatures warm up 79 by Wednesday, starting to cool off after this system passes. Friday, showers roll out early in the morning, and then temperatures drop down to 51 on Sunday, 47 on Monday, but they will start to warm back up as we see the sun come out next week.
In the meantime, we're in for some rain and then a pretty chilly weekend again.
Yes, it will be chilly, but sunny, so may not feel...
Good trade-off.
Yeah, may not feel so bad.
All right. Thanks, Lindsay. Well, it is spring break for some, and for some Pittsburgh kids, they're enjoying their days off at Camp Now and Then. The program offers kids ages 5 to 12 the opportunity to play games, create crafts, and make new friends. KOAM's Fernanda Silva has more.
It is cereal. It's Fruit Loops. I don't really like Fruit Loops.
Stevie Snyder is one of more than 20 kids spending a couple of hours of her spring break days at Camp Now and Then.
You can make friends with them and have fun. And grow up together.
There she's meeting new people and also trying new things.
I've never tried them before. Those are really good.
Another thing Snyder enjoys at the camp is the activities they do there.
It's fun to do stuff. I mean, learn new things.
We go throughout the day. We go outside. We do crafts. We do games. We do have an activity like a PE time. And then this afternoon, we do different games and crafts and go outside again.
The fun for the kids comes with peace of mind for their parents.
Gives parents an opportunity for childcare since it's so scarce around here.
So when our parents are not around at home or our bigger siblings, we get to come here so they get to do what they need to do.
It also allows the little ones to bond with kids from other schools.
It's such a fun time for kids. We have a blast every single time we're here. And it's not just our staff, as you can tell, they don't just supervise, we actually interact with the kids. We go play games, we go do crafts with them, we do everything with them.
Fun for everybody. In Pittsburgh, Fernanda Silva, KOAM News.
Well, the registration for the spring break camp Now and Then is closed already, but parents can register their kids to be at the camp on other days USD 250 is out of school. You can find more information on our website at koamnewsnow.com. Well, coming up, when you can expect more Aldi stores to pop up across the U.S. Discount grocer Aldi plans to invest $9 billion and open 800 new stores across the U.S. by the end of 2028. Fox Business correspondent Kelly Sabiri has more from Chicago.
Inflation could be leading shoppers to this German-based store. Some surveys say this is the cheapest option for U.S. shoppers for staples like bread and eggs. Aldi isn't just quirky for the fun of it. Some of these practices are what keep their costs low, including having to bag your own groceries and use a quarter to get your shopping cart. Aldi saying in a statement, quote, with up to 40% savings on groceries, new customers are inspired to try us out, and existing customers keep coming back. Grocery prices have skyrocketed 25% since 2019, outpacing overall inflation. A recent YouGov survey says a lot of people are now blaming major corporations for being greedy. Stores and suppliers have clashed over prices. The biggest grocer in the U.S. is Walmart. It accounts for 25% of the market. And in 2022, its CEO, Doug McMillon, asked companies to, quote, help us not have to pass something on to a customer. Meanwhile, one White House report says grocery store profit margins are higher than pre-pandemic levels. Therefore, consumers are the ones feeling the pinch ahead of tomorrow's CPI report. The Biden administration hasn't gone after any corporations directly for price gouging. Aldi is also expanding by acquiring Southeastern Grocers, which runs Winn-Dixie and Harvey supermarkets. So if you're a viewer in the South, you may notice that your Winn-Dixie may soon turn into an Aldi. In Chicago, Kelly Saberi, Fox Business.
AAA says the national average for a gallon of regular gas climbed to $3.40 a gallon on Friday. That's a 4-month high. Experts say there's no reason to panic about gas prices, at least not yet. Gas prices always rise at this time of the year as the demand for fuel goes up once winter ends. It also means the end of cheap winter fuel and the switch to the more expensive summer fuel blend. Well, the Biden administration says it expects Boeing to cooperate with investigations by the Justice Department and the National Transportation Safety Board into the Alaska Airlines door blowout incident. The airline says an inspection found loose bolts on many of its Boeing MAX 9s. The company also acknowledged it cannot find records related to the removal of the door panel, prompting criticism from transportation officials. Up next, we'll learn about a woman's record-breaking journey running across Antarctica. 10,000 steps a day might be good enough for the average person. Not for me, but not for Donna Urquhart. She just finished 871 miles in 28 days in Antarctica. Wow. The Australian is an ultra-marathon runner and a self-described pain scientist who just set the new Guinness World Record for the longest polar ultramarathon pending ratification. Urquhart ran 30 miles per day in below zero temperatures and gusty winds during her quest, which she calls Run Antarctica. That is insane. 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports is coming your way. President Biden turns his focus to shrinkflation as he pushes the economy ahead of November. Plus, former President Trump keeps his eye trained on the border, calling out President Biden's policies.
You're watching the 4 states' most watched news.
This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. I'm Tanya Bach. President Biden is shifting his focus to shrinkflation. It's part of a broader strategy to reframe how voters think about the economy while blaming big business for rising prices. Connor Hansen reports.
I'm here in New Hampshire to talk about the budget I released today that would, what I think, help in a big way.
President Biden's budget plan calls for expanding social programs and increasing taxes for wealthy people and corporations.
I will protect and strengthen Social Security and Medicare and make the wealthy begin to pay their fair share.
While the economy is doing well by some major metrics and inflation has cooled, Americans still feel like they're paying a premium. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the cost of things like food, housing, and electricity have all increased. President Biden, in part, has been blaming shrinkflation. It's when the price of items stays the same while the size or quantity noticeably shrink. The White House even retweeting the Cookie Monster, who complained of smaller cookies.
He pointed out his cookies are getting smaller, paying the same price. I was stunned when I found out that's what actually happened.
Whether it's the price of cookies or gas and mortgage rates, experts believe they will be major factors when voters head to the polls.
The Biden campaign is losing constituencies that they normally rely upon because those are the constituents, Liz, that have been hardest hit by Bidenomics.
The Labor Department plans to release a key inflation report Tuesday morning. Inflation is not expected to rise significantly, but it could mean the Fed will not be cutting interest rates for a few months. In New York, Connor Hansen, Fox News.
E. Jean Carroll is not objecting to former President Donald Trump's nearly $92 million bond in the defamation case. Trump posted the bond last week as he appeals the judgment against him. The district judge had ordered Carroll's legal team to file any objections to the bond by Monday morning. Now, Trump is facing another deadline later this month to put up another $454 million in the New York Attorney General's civil fraud case. Former President Trump is hammering home what figures to be his main general election theme, the border crisis. On Saturday, the former president met with the parents of the Georgia nursing student allegedly killed by an illegal immigrant. Fox News correspondent Bill Malugan has the latest from West Palm Beach, Florida.
To her family tonight, I promise you I will demand justice for Laken.
Former President Donald Trump invoking Laken Riley's name at a campaign rally in Georgia over the weekend. Before that event, backstage, Riley's parents met with Trump as he blasted President Biden's handling of the border, saying it was his catch-and-release policies that allowed Riley's Venezuelan alleged killer into the U.S. in September 2022.
Laken Riley would be alive today if Joe Biden had not willfully and maliciously eviscerated the borders of the United States and set loose thousands and thousands of dangerous criminals into our country. He was an illegal migrant, and he shouldn't have been in our country, and he never would have been under the Trump policy.
But Democrats accuse Trump and fellow Republicans of using Laken Riley's death as a political ploy.
They're trying to score political points in the wake of a young woman's death. That is craven politics at its worst. It's what turns people away from politics.
Trump is approaching the finish line, closing in on the 1,215 delegates needed to officially secure the Republican nomination, with immigration at the center of his message.
On day one of my new administration, I will terminate every open border policy of the Biden administration, and we will use every tool at our disposal to rid our country of the monsters who Joe Biden set loose to threaten and kill innocent Americans.
And Fox News has confirmed that today, Donald Trump's newly installed leadership team at the RNC started cutting dozens of staffers from their positions, as it appears a major shakeup is now underway at the RNC following Laura Trump's ascension to RNC co-chair. Reporting in West Palm Beach, Bill Malugan, Fox News.
A bit later, March is International Crochet Month. We're going to meet a Pittsburgh middle school student who's hooked on the craft.
All right, so we are seeing some warmer temperatures in the next couple of days. And if you take a look outside, we see our Cornell Complex camera. Clear skies, winds are picking up. And we do see some rain chances tomorrow as well, which is probably why we're seeing pretty fast winds ahead of that front moving forward, with winds getting up to about 40 miles per hour. Today, we're a bit above average, and we're going to see those temperatures continue to increase as we move into later this week. Temperatures getting nearly hitting 80 by Wednesday, so we'll see how that goes. But we are tracking the next rain system moving in on Tuesday. Not coming in until later that evening, we have clouds moving in around 4 or 5 a.m. pretty early tomorrow. And like I said, it's going to be pretty breezy with gusts upwards of 42, 45 miles per hour. But these temperatures are really nice. By noon, we're going to be in the 60s. And tomorrow for a high, we're thinking about 72, 73. So it'll be really nice. And then the rain chances start to make their way in a little bit later, around 8 p.m., 9 p.m., with the thunderstorms coming in after that. Now, we're going to take a closer look and see that in just a minute, and I'll talk about that. But right now I'll show you we've got low risk for severe storms tomorrow and on Wednesday. So that's just due to the instability in the area and the atmosphere. That's for Tuesday night and for Wednesday night. Taking a look, we're going to see the clouds roll through, and here's that system. We're already seeing it start to track a little bit further south. That's what I was expecting to see. Right now, no rain developing in our area until after it passes. However, earlier it was just up to the northeast. Now we're starting to see it go through that cold front into our area a little bit more. So what I'm expecting to see is this expand all the way through our area, giving us some thunderstorms and rain chances tomorrow evening. Same thing happens on Wednesday. All of the development of these thunderstorms happens in the north right after it passes our region. So Kansas City will be seeing some rain. However, with the instability in the area and the moisture levels, this could develop and spark some thunderstorms and rain a little bit more closer to our counties. Tracking the system on Thursday, we're definitely getting some rain, starting off with some light showers early that morning, and then we're going to see those thunderstorms mostly passing in our southeastern counties. However, a lot of us are going to be seeing rain on Thursday, and that's going to start to fade out by Friday morning. So Friday afternoon should be pretty clear, but we'll see some showers Friday. 20% chance of rain Tuesday and Wednesday. I know right now we're not seeing any rain actually in our area. However, with that system tracking a little bit more to the south, we could expect to see some thunderstorms and rain showers in the region. And then Thursday, definitely getting some showers early in the morning with those thunderstorm chances rolling in later that evening.
Well, we got a lot moving in, so we'll be on top of it, that's for sure.
We'll be tracking that.
Keep you guys busy in the Weather Center there. All right, thanks, Lindsay. Well, spring is just around the corner, and if you have a spring allergy, it's better to get prepared right now. Now, these tiny particles are already in the air. Historically, the allergy season starts in late March and continues through June, but this year, the warm winter is making plants release pollen faster. Some tips are staying indoors, keeping your windows closed, and running the air conditioner. Well, coming up in sports, Pittsburgh State men's and women's basketball both received bids to the NCAA tournament. John Dales has previews of each game for the Gorillas and a lot more up next.
March Madness is here, at least at the Division II level. Now, late last night, the D2 selection show reveals that both Pittsburgh State basketball teams are heading to the NCAA tournament. We start on the women's side. The Gorillas receive an automatic bid to the NCAA tournament after winning the MIAA tournament yesterday. Pitt State is the 4 seed in the Central Region. Their opening round game is Friday night against 5 seed Harding. Now that contest will be played at Southern Nazarene University. Here's a look at the Central Region women's bracket. 4 MIAA teams, including the Gorillas, are in this region. All 4 of the first round games are scheduled for this Friday. If they win that first game, they play again the next day. Then the regional championship, the Sweet 16 game, that would be a week from today. Pitt State men's basketball also gets selected to participate in the NCAA tournament. The Gorillas receive an at-large bid after losing in the MIAA tournament championship game yesterday. Jeff Boshy's group not in action until Saturday night. They're the 5 seed in the Central Region. They will face 4th seeded Minnesota State Moorhead. Here's a look at the men's Central Region bracket. Minnesota State is the top seed and the host for the opening 3 rounds. The round of 32 takes place the following day. That's Sunday. Then the Sweet 16 will be on the 19th. That's next Tuesday. The Gorillas join Northwest Missouri and Fort Hays State as the other MIAA qualifiers. And one of the biggest stories from Selection Sunday, at least around here, is Missouri Southern women's basketball getting left out of the NCAA tournament. The Lions, considered by many to be on the bubble of receiving an at-large bid, but after losing 3 of their final 4 games to end the season, including an opening round loss to Pitt State in the MIAA tournament, the Lions do not receive an invitation to compete in this year's tournament. Now we have put a bow on the high school basketball season in the 4 states. Today, the CNC releases its all-conference awards and selections. Colgan girls basketball head coach Abby Farabi is named the 2023-24 CNC Coach of the Year. This comes after she helps lead the Panthers to a perfect 12-0 record in conference play. Colgan also brings home a 3rd place trophy from the Class 2A state tournament in Dodge City. Here are the girls' 1st and 2nd team All-CNC honorees. Colgan has 4 players selected to the first 2 teams. Led by unanimous first-team players Lily Brown and Jacayla Davis, Riverton's Chloe Parker, other unanimous first-teamer, and E.J. Wells, also on the first team. We have the full list as well as honorable mentions on our website. Meanwhile, Colgan head coach Clint Heffern is named the CNC Coach of the Year for boys basketball. The Panthers tied Girard for the regular season championship with a 10-2 record in conference play. Colgan finished the year with a 19-4 record, was ranked 3rd in the final coaches poll of the season. Here are the 1st and 2nd team boys All-CNC honorees. We have 4 unanimous selections to the first team. Girard's Aiden Troike, Frontenac senior Trey Kramer, Colgan senior Jack Schremer, and Galena junior Jack Perry. You can find the full list, including honorable mentions, at KOAMnewsnow.com/sports. That's a look at sports. We'll be back with more news after this.
Crochet fanatics recognize the month as International Crochet Month. But for one middle school student in Pittsburgh, crochet is more than a hobby. KOAM's Amber Jenkins introduces us to the young entrepreneur.
Autumn Wiss started crocheting with her mom, but soon realized that it's more than just a hobby. It's an opportunity.
And you don't have to start doing stuff like this till you're older. You can start now, like me. I started my business about 2 years ago here.
Autumn sells her creations at Roots Coffee Shop in Pittsburgh. She also hosts classes to help others.
So these are my mom's favorite. Fun, it's a lot of hard work. My classes, they have a lot of fun. We listen to music and I help them one-on-one a lot.
Makes it pretty clear and it's really easy to learn from her. I tried to learn from my aunt and actually couldn't, so she's pretty good to learn from.
Her spring break classes focuses on crocheting a bouquet of flowers. Autumn says she loves watching her students' skills grow.
It looks nice though. It looks really full. It doesn't take a lot of time to make something. Like a lot of these kids here today have made 4 flowers or so in 2 hours, and I thought it would maybe take them a little bit longer than it has.
And being from Kansas, guess what was the most popular flower to make?
Probably this one. The sunflower.
Well, you are a Kansas girl through and through. Of course, you're going to pick the sunflower one. Autumn says running the business makes her independent. She hopes to use the profits to buy what many teens want, a car.
I've made quite a bit of money, and I'm saving for like a car and different things like that. So.
Reporting in Pittsburgh, Amber Jenkins, KOAM News.
The crochet class continues tomorrow at 9 a.m. at Root Coffee Shop in Pittsburgh. It's an Oscars sweep for one of the year's biggest movies. We've got highlights from the 2024 Academy Awards coming up. The 2024 Oscars in Hollywood honored films of the past year, with one of the biggest movies having a very big night. Fox's Ashley Dvorkin has a recap.
The premiere's predictions, red carpets, Barbenheimer box office. It all led to the 2024 Oscars. Here are highlights of Hollywood's biggest night.
Oppenheimer.
Christopher Nolan's epic-scale biopic Oppenheimer swept the show with 7 wins total, including Best Picture. Nolan won his first Best Director Oscar. Cillian Murphy received Best Actor in a leading role. Robert Downey Jr. took the Actor in a Supporting Role trophy.
Oh boy, this is really overwhelming.
Poor Things star Emma Stone won Best Actress in a leading role.
For so long, I've always wanted to be different. And now I realize I just need to be myself.
The Holdovers' Da'Vine Joy Randolph capped off her award season winning streak with Best Actress in a Supporting Role. Jimmy Kimmel hosted for a 4th time with jokes about nominees, addressed a bad review from former President Donald Trump on social media, and in one particularly memorable moment,
Costumes, they are so important.
He brought out John Cena wearing an envelope to present costume design. Poor Things won that, as well as production design and makeup and hairstyling. Best Original Screenplay went to Anatomy of a Fall, and Adapted Screenplay to American Fiction. Best International Feature Film went to The Zone of Interest. Music of the movie's center stage included Scott George and the Osage Singers, Billie Eilish and Phineas O'Connell with the now Oscar-winning Barbie tune What Was I Made For? Plus, Ryan Gosling, Mark Ronson, and Slash rocked out I'm Just Ken. Their Kenergy and audience sing-along, part of a show which wrapped a long award season celebrating the past year in movies. In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
That's our time for tonight. Thanks for joining us. We're going to leave you with video of seal pups swimming at the Brookfield Zoo. Have a great night and an even better tomorrow.